There's my presentation. Just a second. Sorry, guys, just a small issue here. Ma, do you have the presentation there? It's not coming. Sorry. It was open, but it disappeared. 1 second. Got it. Share my screen. Yes. Yes. So, hello everyone. I am Fernanda Simon. I'm the director, Fashion Revolution Brazil director. I'm also part of the board of directors of Fashion Revolution CIC, the global one. So it is a pleasure to be here in this such important moment for our community, Fashion Revolution community. So I'm happy to be here, a bit nervous, like to speak English in front of all of you, but sorry about my English mistakes. If you have any question, just put your question in the chat. And welcome everyone. This is the how to build a community, how to be a community builder workshop. So, I will ask to you introduce yourself. So share in the chat your name, where in the world you are joining the call from, and what community means to you. So you guys can use the chat for this. And well, so Fashion Revolution CIC is hosting this workshopping series. So how to be a fashion revolutionary. There are many activities happening. So I will invite you to see all this content that are being prepared for this global community for all of you. So let's go for our. So this workshop it is shared in 2 parts. The first part, we will talk about the importance of communities for driving action. I will talk about this, and we have the second part that is about Fashion Revolution Brazil, a case study. Because here in Brazil, we have plenty of communities, like local communities. So Marina is here in the call with us, and she will give the second part of our workshop. So I will start talking about why is community so important, mainly when we are talking about sustainability, when we are talking about building a better future, a fair future for all of us. So I believe that to learn how to live in communities is crucial for achieving a systemic change. We talk a lot about systemic change in Fashion Revolution, but we need this systemic change in the whole world. So when we face it with intersection in global crisis, transitioning to a fairer social model will only be possible if we relearn how to live as a community. So in indigenous communities and in other ancestral traditional model, living together is natural. So this always was a natural practice of humanity. And being close to others and also being close to nature is what enables them to live apart from the capitalism-run societies. And there's a quote by Barry Commoner And he says that the first law of ecology is that everything is related to everything else. So Barry Commoner, he played a pivotal role at the beginning of the environmental movement. And the message that I wanted to share here is that from the ancestral communities to the current environmentalist movements, to live in communities connected to each other and connected to the nature is the key. So this is essential for our transition. And here I wanted to bring another quote from a Brazilian activist, indigenous activist, that is called Ailton Krenak. So I invite you to know his work. And he says that we were alienating ourselves from this organism of which we are part, the earth. And we start to think that it is one thing and we are another, earth and humanity. I don't understand where there is anything that is not nature. Everything is nature. The cosmos is nature. All I can think about is nature. So he brings this light that we are nature, we are all one, that this is simple, but in our current society model, it is not easy, it's not simple to live with this idea. So I think this is like the key when we talk about community and talk about building these communities. So talking a little bit about fashion, communities in fashion. Building communities in fashion is essential for transitioning to a more sustainable industry. And this transition needs to occur across all spheres, including. So I brought here 3 points that I think it is very important when we think about communities in fashion. One is the public awareness and engagement. That is what we do in Fashion Revolution. Other point is establishing cooperatives for more local and sustainable raw materials production. So here in Brazil, we see that the most sustainable raw material productions are the ones who are made, the ones that are produced in cooperatives. And I will talk a little bit about that. And another very important point is to ensure freedom of association rights for workers to improve their conditions. So this is also when we are talking about people who make our clothes, it's very important to that they have their freedom of association and that they build their own communities and they have their rights guaranteed. So, sorry guys, this. One of the case studies that I wanted to bring here is about the cotton in Brazil. So the cotton agribusiness is transforming the Brazilian Cerrado. The Brazilian Cerrado is a kind of Brazilian savanna. So it is a very diverse area full of animals and plants and culture. And this place, this territory is becoming a monoculture of crops, including cotton. So in Brazil, cotton is largely grown in deforested areas using unsustainable farming practices, toxic chemicals, and negatively impacting local people, biodiversity, and their culture. So this is something very urgent when we talk about sustainability in Brazil, because in Brazil, we are one of the biggest cotton producers in the world. And, here this area, for instance, you can imagine that used to be, a nature territory full of biodiversity, and look at now, yeah. So, and also something that is important, that this profit goes to a few people. So it is not a shared profit, yeah. So when we think about the opposite. So because the opposite, what is the opposite model? What is an alternative that in fact it is sustainable? So I brought this case that what I believe, the opposite model, it's only possible when the local communities are built. And again, local culture, diversity, and biodiversity are taken into consideration. So here there is a picture of Rede Borborema, which is a cooperative that grows agroecological cotton, and they are based in the northeast of Brazil. And well, they are a very important case study. They are a local organization where families produce cotton and other crops in union. So through an agroecological model, and it is all organic. So these families, they grow a variety of crops, including food, and they share their profits. So they are independent, and within this model, they can have a dignified life system base, dignified life style, and it is based on their own rural model. So it is, it is possible. But just to give an idea, this kind of production in Brazil now represents less than 1%. So it is so small compared to all this cotton production that we have here in our country. And another case that I wanted to share is about Chico Mendes and the Rubber Workers Union, because Chico Mendes, he was the most important activist, social and environmental activist in Brazil. So Chico Mendes, he is from the Amazon area called Acre, and the Amazon rainforest has been threatened for decades for reasons like the agribusiness, mining, timber, cotton, and cattle production. And this territory that Chico Mendes is from is being devastated mainly because of the cattle production. Local communities which were originally able to live from sustainable forest extraction, like Brazilian nuts, acai, plant oils, and also the rubber extraction, have now found their way of life threatened due to deforestation on the lands, and they began to lose their lands and their lifestyle, with many having worked for big agribusiness to survive. So the rubbers workers who were fighting for better conditions, they realized that they were not only fighting for their jobs, but also to preserve the forest. So this movement that was led by Chico Mendes, this movement was led by Chico Mendes, the rubber workers. They fight with the government, and Chico Mendes, he was killed something, I think 25, I don't remember how many, more than 20 years ago. So he was killed because he was speaking for the forest. And nowadays there is a large Amazon forest preserve called Chico Mendes area. It is a preserved park, and people live in this territory. They are able, to make sustainable extractions without open space for cotton productions. So this is a very important case, and here to save the rainforest, Chico Mendes and the Rubber Workers Union asked the government to set up reserves for using the forest without damaging. So it was they won this fight, but it is still a very symbolic and important fight, because they are based in a small territory, but the whole Amazon is still in danger. Here there's a very famous quote by Chico Mendes that he said, "At first I thought I was fighting to save the rubber trees. Then I thought I was fighting to save the Amazon rainforest. Now I realize I'm fighting for humanity." And there is another very important quote that he says, "Environmentalist without class struggle is just gardening." So this is also a very important quote of Chico Mendes, because he says about the importance of talking about social justice. When we talk about environmentalists, we need also to think about people. So this is something very important when we talk about territories, local territories, because when we talk about protecting the Amazon, we can't forget that people live there, and the people who live there, they know, like, it's part of their culture to live with the nature, with the forest. So we need to protect the forest, but considering the reality of people who are there. And well, I brought this case because the connection between rubber extraction and fashion is that the rubber, the raw material, is also used to produce fashion items like bags and shoes. So here you can see how they extract this rubber. So the forest needs to be alive. So if the forests are alive, the trees are alive, they can have these extractions and they can sell this product without destroying the forest, and to live sustainably. So here is the extraction. And so, well, for me, this is my part. Now I will pass to Marina. She will talk about Fashion Revolution Brazil and how we mobilize communities. Thank you. Ma, you ask and I go passing the slides.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Marina de Luca. Thank you, Fe, for your presentation. It was very inspiring to start with a big picture with these important cases of community building communities. I'm here to talk about our case. I am here in the Brazil team. I am the manager of Fashion Revolution Week and also manager of Mobilizing. So I'm working exactly with this, with bringing people near us and empowering them to work with us for Fashion Revolution. You can pass, please. So in this year, we also are celebrating 10 years of Fashion Revolution Brazil together with the Fashion Revolution Global one. And we realized in these 10 years that acting on Fashion Revolution has been part of a healing process for professionals sickened by the fashion market. So we have a lot of volunteers that look for us because they are completely disbelief towards the fashion market. And they see on Fashion Revolution an opportunity to make something good. They see the Fashion Revolution on a moment that they are not seeing anything else that can do good for fashion. So they come for us with a lot of hope and energy to do something, to act. They want to do anything they can to act for a good fashion, for the Fashion Revolution. You can pass, Faye, please. I brought this testimonial of a volunteer that says more than I will read. Really need to thank you for all the support you have given to my ideas for Fashion Revolution. I am receiving from you and the movement a validation that I have not had for a long time in the profession. And this is giving me a lot of energy and helping me find meaning and healing. Know that you, by giving me the chance to be a volunteer back there, triggered a very positive process in my life. This was one testimonial in a lot of similar one that we received from our community. You can pass, please. And 2023, we had these numbers in our community, and it's already very big. And this year, 2024, we don't have exactly the numbers yet because we are in the middle of Fashion Revolution Week. But I can share that we already passed these numbers. We had 15 people working on our core team, 74 volunteers, student ambassadors, 66 local agents, also volunteers, 163 educational institutions, 1,354 volunteers, and 170 teacher ambassadors, also volunteers. So you can see in that we have a big community and smaller communities inside this bigger one. Pass, please. So what are these small communities? We have mainly the local agents that they promote actions in their cities, mobilizing people, brands, companies, museums to engage. They are talking about fashion revolution in all the city. The student ambassadors they work within the educational institutions and other students. So they call friends, they mobilize other students, not just on the fashion design courses, but also in the other kind of courses to make actions inside the education institutions. And also the teacher ambassadors that they work within the education institutions and in their disciplines. Because we know how difficult it is to change syllabus. So we help them, we invest a lot of time and energy to build materials and tools that can help teachers to talk about the fashion revolution, the revolution in general, inside their classes, inside their disciplines. Not just on Fashion Revolution Week, but all over the year. Pass, please. And also we learned in these 10 years that empathy is revolutionary. So when you can understanding exactly each person's situations, you can connect better with each one. We have these huge numbers, but we connect differently with each one. So if you can listen, welcome, and connect with what is relevant to that person, you can you can draw them near. You can make them more connected with commitment with fashion revolution. Create a bond by communicating one-to-one as much as possible. So I know it's very tiring and it demands a lot of energy to communicate one by one. But as you can reach this kind of communication, not just talking with everyone at the same time in generalists emails or words, you can create better, stronger bonds. So if you can get a bigger team, or just if you have just a small team of volunteers, but connecting and talking, communicating one by one, you're gonna have strongest and commitment community. You can pass it, please. How we reach this big community? We make a public call. We make 1 or 2 each year to calling anyone to be volunteer on Fashion Revolution. We focus always on the cities that we don't have much volunteers because we are committed to represent all the Brazil territories, knowing that we have so many different cultures and fashion problems, because we have different industries in each city that they are doing something for fashion market in general. But this public call accepts anyone. So anyone can apply for this. And we also count with our community to disclosure this public call. So at the first year, we had 6 volunteers. And each year we are expanding this web by the public calls. You can pass, Faye, please. And also we communicate with them by a few channels. WhatsApp is the main one. We have 3 groups of WhatsApp, one for the local agents, one for the students ambassador, and the teacher ambassadors. And the WhatsApp, it's a place that we change ideas and debates, and we can be light and be ourselves and know each other in other cities and other states, and have this feeling that we are talking with a community that are in a lot of cities and all over the country. And this is very strong. It's not a place that we put like important documents or warnings or dates or links. It's just a place that we can chat. We can chat like more impersonal chat. And this is a very, and also because we don't want to cause any anxiety with the WhatsApp, because we know that if you are 1-2 hours, I don't know, one day without seeing the WhatsApp, when you open the group, it's like 200 or 600 messages. And then I know that it causes anxiety in almost everyone. So we just use the WhatsApp to know each other, to get closer with each other, not too important things that's gonna happen with Fashion Revolution. And also they take the telephone for each other in this group. And this is a very significant thing, because, for example, we are expanding our actuation on the north side of Brazil. And we realized a few years ago that we have to show more the North culture of Brazil to the whole Brazil and to the whole country. So that's why we have to give them more opportunities and listen more what happens at the north of Brazil. And when they, in these years, we are expanding our web there. And when they, in this group, are knowing each other, they are starting new projects, collaborating with them in different states of the north, because the north of Brazil is a very big area. And it's not so easy, the communication, or to know other projects, similar projects in their area. So this group made this, it's a space that facilitates for them to know each other and to start new collaborations. You can pass, please, Faye. Also, we do Zoom meetings. We have 2 kinds of Zoom meeting. One monthly training meeting. So every month we are there. We offer constantly support. We are always being there every month. We pass to them the idea that we are a longest group. We're not gonna end everything at the next day. So if the person cannot be very activist and very active at this day or this month, we're gonna be there next month. So we could help them to not have this anxiety, also to be part of. And also we have classes and exchange of knowledge between the network of volunteers. For example, this year we had 3 ones. On January, we had the nonviolent communication meeting, and on February, conscious consumption will not save the world. In March, we have ethics and moral in fashion volunteering. So this is a moment that also the web understand that they are connected with everybody on Brazil that have a lot of and different kinds of knowledge, and they can exchange each other this knowledge to get stronger. Pass, please. We also work a lot of in a lot of materials and tools that can help them to be activists. So we produce a lot of guides in PDF. We produce one especially for brands, industry, and workers, one for student ambassadors, teacher ambassadors, the local agents. This one that called Key Message is general one for anyone. We have this movie list and we work on license with the movies that can be exhibit on other countries. I don't know if you saw last week, I sent everyone of the other fashion revolutions of the world the way to exhibit this Ponto Firme movie. It's a Brazilian doc about a project, local project here. So we are working on this to help them to have more easy ways to do their own activities on Fashion Revolution Week and out of Fashion Revolution Week also. Pass, please. This year, we are, the next one, I think. This year, we're launching this new material. It's a kind of get involved guide, like the global one, but we're calling the Activist Guide. And we selected 20 activities. Some are simpler and some are not so simple. So anyone can do this activity and be an activist on Fashion Revolution. And we hope with this to empowering all the people to know that it's not so complicated to be an activist. And it's a kind of a little tasty about what is being part of our community. So if the person that don't know Fashion Revolution get in touch with this guide and like this, maybe it's a way to come near us and the next year be applying for the public call and be a volunteer, an official volunteer. Faith, you can pass, please. And also we are launching this year in our website 6 about these 20 activities. We choose just 6. They are simpler one and easy to do if you're not so close to Fashion Revolution yet. And we are we are putting energy and calling anyone to do one of these 6 activities and also apply them on our country agenda. And in our website, we have a lot of links that help them to do this, like this Cine debate. We are putting the link for the movie lists and how to get the license to exhibit this movie and what kind of debate you can promote after the movie and tips for what kind of people to call to this debate to honor what the subject of the movie and to reach better impact exhibiting the movie. You can pass, Faye, please. They are all tools that facilitate, that make easier to our community to be closer to us. Faye, you can pass, please. This tool, these Instagram publications are very powerful for us. We made for each volunteer this card with their photos and their whole names and their cities and their state. And also we tagged them on Instagram, our Instagram. And they felt, I don't know how to say, how word to use to explain this, but it's like an award for them to be on our Instagram, on our feed. And it's kind of, it gives them credibility on Fashion Revolution on their cities. And they use a lot this card. So we are very careful and paying a lot of attention on this to do this every year, because this made them very happy and more committed with us. You can pass, Faye, please. I'm sharing a lot of tools. I don't know. I think it's some tool can help you. Also, after the Fashion Revolution Week, like a kind of award, also we make this PDF that called results. And we put all the best photos, the best actions, the names of everybody, the numbers that we reached on the year, examples of actions in similar cities or similar regions, examples of brands that participate this, so they can see themselves there, and also they can use this presentation to present to their little communities in their cities or their educational institutions. Pass, Faye, please. Also, we are very alert with the diversity on our network. So it's very important to us to increase the diversity of race, gender identity, and sexual orientation. So we have goals to better these numbers each year. You can pass, Faye, please. And also these 10 years these 10 years building this community showed us that we have to have a very special care with the mental health. I brought an example that's gonna explain better than me talking here. We had a volunteer that vented to a member of our team who had suffered a situation of domestic violence. And that's why she had left the city where she should work. Therefore, she wasn't sure whether she would need to return to carry out her Fashion Revolution action. Based on this situation, we wrote a collective email wishing everyone a good Fashion Revolution Week and highlighting the importance of being safe and well. Take care of your mental and physical health first. And if you need to cancel the action, that's okay. We have a lasting movement, and there will always be other opportunities to act. Okay, you can pass, please. We have more testimonials. So in return, we received, not from this this volunteer that I was saying about, in return, we received from other volunteers this kind of testimonials. Thank you for this message. In addition to the controlled anxiety for everything to go well with the first action of Fashion Revolution Week, yesterday was exhausting due to health complication with my dog, who couldn't resist and left in the earlier hours of the morning. This care and support from you is very important. For this and many other reasons, I am grateful to be part of this movement. A great revolution really happened when I discovered and joined Fashion Revolution. You can pass, Faye. Another one. Oh, how beautiful. Gratitude for the care. As I demand a lot from myself, it's really been 3 days since I woke up at dawn. But I'm great because I know that this path I'm walking with God and spiritualities guiding me. In the beginning, not everything is easy, but at no point did I feel alone. You are very nice and an incredible feeling of being able to plant a little seed, even with the no's, because being a volunteer is not for everyone. You can pass, Faye, please. And for last, it's wonderful to contribute to the Fashion Revolution movement and see that here the actions correspond to the words. We act as we speak. Nanana, name of one of our team member. I have enormous admiration for you and your constantly empathetic way of dealing with all matters. Kisses to the wonderful team of Fashion Revolution Brazil. Together, we are stronger and we make more noise. You can pass, Fê, please. Ooh, and for last, there was one. Okay, this is the last one. Já tinha passado esse. The next one. So we are not the only ones who know, and we still have a lot to learn here in Brazil, but we're very grateful for our journey so far. So I'm very thankful to share with you our journey. Thank you. Oh, this is our contact. You can contact us, right, Fê? Do you want to say something or to read maybe the comments?
We have a few questions in the chat. Can I read? And then which one of you wants to answer, that's fine. So the first one, it's from Laura. She said that everything was really interesting and that she's from an archipelago that barely has industries apart from tourism. But in terms of fashion, they do have the same problems as the rest of the world in the matters of the consume and the dissonance with exploitation of the fast fashion. So knowing this background, how would you approach the type of work, activism, and goals for the community on the archipelago?
Well, I would say that awareness actions is always important. And also, to incentivize that people research their culture, their local culture, what is part of that territory, and how can incentivize that, how they can make that better and bigger and stronger. And well, this in sustainability, we always say is that it is important to think globally but act locally. So, and I think everywhere in the world, there are some local practice that sometimes it was forgotten, it was lost maybe. So everywhere, and people always wear clothes. So everywhere we can talk about fashion. We can talk about where our clothes come from. We can talk about the consumptions. We can talk about the velocity of the fashion industry. So I think this awareness discussion is always important. And yes, and also again, see what exists in that territory that can be stronger. Probably there are women who make a kind of work, handmade work or sewing, or I don't know. So to make this bigger, I think it is something like this.
Yes, perfect. I would just add that I don't know what's gonna work in your territory because I don't know exactly, but something that's always work here is to call everyone to a in-person chat. So you can just organize one in-person meeting, and call everyone to listen what they have to say. And when we are together, especially in person, we connect better with the feelings of the other persons. And I think the goals I think the goals already exist in the people. They just have to be together and start the conversation to understand what they want and what they need. And then you can starting to organize yourselves in some constantly meetings, or maybe change for online. But I would say that starting with just one in-person meeting with no pretension to give classes, to bring information, but just to listen the people. And maybe doing just one collective poster with all needed and testimonials and quotes. So you can, little by little, starting to build this group, like a group, not just individuals separate in their homes, especially this maybe handcrafts women's. We know that the women that do handcrafts, they are very alone on their homes. So putting everyone together, it's the first step to help us to feel in a group and stronger.
She said here, yes, we have so many crafts and techniques that our grandmas used to do that are getting lost in our culture. Yes, I think this is happening in most part of the world. Here in Brazil, we also have many techniques like embroiderings and laces that are like getting lost because people don't see value anymore. So I think it's also part of our mission as a fashion revolutionary to look to these techniques, to look to these people, to look to this culture, because fashion is culture. And mainly fashion is history, fashion is, it is about all of these traditions as well. So it's very important that we look to them and promote them and make them stronger.
Thanks, Faye. Thanks, Marina. If anyone else has any other questions, please put in the chat. But we had a question, Faye, about your earrings. And I think it disconnects so well with what we are talking about. So if you could explain a little bit about the community who did this. And yeah, I think it connects really well with our conversation. And I guess Marina is wearing a similar earring too. So
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Also, well, this is earrings. It was made by an indigenous community in Brazil. So this kind of techniques become very popular recently because many indigenous communities, they didn't have how to make, a kind of profit with their art, with their techniques. So this kind of art become getting more space. So they produce this inside their own communities, and they sell like in markets or in some small shops, so they can get some, some money. And yes, they are beautiful, right? And they have like many values, and I love them. I have a few of them. This is from middle of Brazil. This is from Xingu. That is a territory that's very threatened by deforestation actions. As I said, like a cattle, they're like soya production, corn production. So communities, indigenous community which used to live, like in their own lands, hunting, fishing, getting fruits and things from the soil. Many of them, they can't have this relationship anymore because the water is dirty. There's no many fishes anymore. They can hunt. They don't have like some of them, they don't have territories to live anymore. So they become some of them started to go to cities or live between the city and their local communities. But now they need to have money, so now they need to have a connection. So to sell their art is something that they do so they can survive, and also share their art for other people.
Thanks, Faye. I don't think we have any other questions here, but I would let me see. Yeah, another one just came. Let me see. So the question is from Vijaya, and she says that she agrees because of fast fashion and the pace of everything, that everyone wants everything fast and cheap, and that's why we are losing the ethical processes. And how will present and aware people about the essence and the need to shift and be aware about what they are consuming? So a question about ethical consumerism. Who wants to answer this one? It's a tricky one.
Well, I think there's something very important, that I don't see fast fashion as brands. We're not talking about just brands. We're talking about a system. So it is a system that is producing fast, people are consuming fast, and people are discarding fast. So, and when it is, as Isabella just said, it's very tricky to say about what is ethical consumerism. Is that possible to exist? And in my personal opinion, to buy ethically is to buy with conscience, that you will make good choice, but it is also needed to be something that it is in accordance with your own life. So you will not buy a brand if you can't afford it, you know, but you can buy what you can afford, what you believe and what you need in harmony, you know, in how I say, without it's something about like quantity, is about something about it's much more about your decision and how you take care and how you're gonna the relationship you have than specific brands. And yes, it is very difficult for small ethical brands to exist. So this is why we talk about you know, different models of productions. So for the small brands, it is important as well to give information in their products about their production, about their supply chain. But yes, it is also important that we consider bigger aspects like public policies, education, media. So it is not just about buying brands, but it's also to promote this idea in other public spaces as well. I think, I don't know if I could explain well this in English, but I hope you have understand. And Isa, you can also talk to us and say what you think. Marina.
I'm sure. I think you answered perfectly, Fit. And just to quick add two things. I think that a strong wording we have in Fashion Revolution is that loved clothes last. So when we learn to have this relationship with what we are wearing, and when we stimulate this on people, I think this is really powerful, more powerful than like the buying new things, or it's to having this relationship. And as a community builder, and I think everyone here wants to be a community builder, it's key to not place the blame on consumers, because we all need to consume every day to be in this capitalist society that we are on. So yeah, we just need to be mindful to not place the blame on the volunteers and everyone wanting to engage with us, and to have like a systemic thinking, and to put pressure where pressure is needed. So at the government, at the brands, at the people who have real power. So I think this is key. And just so before we end, the last question, it's from Romy. She's asking, how is it possible to find reliable information about problems related to fashion, and then how she can provide this to people that are interested. So who wants to close?
Well, I can say in our materials, in Fashion Revolution materials in general, you can access the website of the Global Fashion Revolution. And we have a lot of free downloads that you can read about each subject specifically that you want to know. And we also have, in a lot of languages, we have in Spanish, in German, in Portuguese, in English, different materials. We also have posters that you can show to people. We have posts on Instagrams, we have videos on YouTube. I think we are the organization that have the best materials to show you the problems of the fashion industry. That was the question, right? And right?
Yeah, that was it.
So I think we are the best ones.
Sure, yeah, I agree. Please enter on our website. I'm sure you're going to find a lot of information. And if you don't hesitate to reach your country coordinator, or if you don't have one in your country, maybe you want to become one, or you can get in touch with a country near you. We are right on time, so I would like to close the session and thank everyone for their inputs, for being active on the chat with me, and especially to Fernanda and Marina. It's really beautiful and inspirational to see all the mobilization work you do in Brazil and all in the world, and I really believe in the strong power. So thank you, girls. You are really powerful and inspiring. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, bye. Obrigada, gente.